Nature Conservancy and Blue Source shall enter into a carbon development and marketing agreement and working forest management agreement. Whereas the resolution of council provides that council shall have the right to approve the operative agreements prior to execution by the authority. Whereas the authority desires to obtain the approval of council to execute the operative agreements with the Nature Conservancy and Blue Source, now known as the Term Conservation Easement Agreement and Agreement for the Development, Verification, Registration, and Marketing of Greenhouse Gas Emission Reduction Benefits, copies of which are attached. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that the Term Conservation Easement Agreement and the Agreement for the Development, Verification, Registrations, and Marketing of Greenhouse Gas Emission Reduction Benefits are approved, and the authority is authorized to execute the agreements and move forward with the working ordinance project. Resolution 11F is sponsored by Eric Evans and J. William Reynolds.
Comments? Mr. Reynolds?
I just want to echo what I said before. Same type of deal here. The same players at the authority and the Nature Conservancy have helped to create what I think is a win-win situation for everyone around. So, thank you.
Any other comments?
Just that it was that we heard this a little bit earlier in the year than we heard the most recent presentation of the wind farms, but I pulled together my my notes and my paperwork, and I would agree with Mr. Reynolds. It was absolutely at the end of the night, so many questions have been asked, and every question had been answered. And I think we've had a great relationship with the Nature Conservancy in terms of its stewardship of our land in the Poconos in our watershed. And again, this is very forward-thinking, and yet it's very proven across the country and around the world. This is a way to best utilize our resources while preserving our resources, and to lessen our carbon footprint, which is important for all of us. So I couldn't support it more strenuously. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mallon.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
11K, authorizing the execution right-of-way agreement, PPL, Hellertown Road.
Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Bethlehem that the mayor and controller are authorized to execute a right-of-way agreement and related documents with PPL for the purpose of granting permission to construct, operate, and maintain the electric and communication lines consisting of facilities shown on the plan, including 2 push brace poles and overhead wires and appurtenant fixtures on city property known as Hellertown Road and Route 412 in accordance with the right-of-way agreement. Resolution 11K is sponsored by Eric Evans and J. William Reynolds.
Comments? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mallon.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0 passes.
We'll move to new business. I have 2 points here on the new business. Rescheduling the second meeting of City Council from Tuesday, April 19th to Monday, April 18th. Because of Passover, I believe this is the first time we've ever done this. When Cindy and I were making out the schedule. So in respect for Passover, we will have the meeting on Monday, April 18th. Second point, rescheduling the second meeting in May from Tuesday, May 17th, which is primary election day, to Wednesday, May 18th, 2011. With that, the chair will accept a motion from Ms. Stolen and Mrs. Belinsky to schedule a second meeting in April to Monday, April 18th, since Tuesday, April 19th is Passover, and to reschedule a second meeting in May to Wednesday, May 18th, since Tuesday, May 17th is primary election day. I ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion, please.
Mrs. Belinsky.
Aye.
Mr. DiGiacinto.
Aye.
Ms. Dolan.
Aye.
Mr. Evans.
Aye.
Mr. Mallon.
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Mr. Donchev.
Aye.
7-0.
New business, members of council. New business? Mr. Evans, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a short report I'd like to read on behalf of a couple of groups to the entire council. On Thursday, March 17th, I attended a meeting at Cathedral Church, the Nativity. It's located on Wyandotte Street. The meeting was called by Craig Updegrove of St. Andrew's Episcopal Church on Pennsylvania Avenue. There were over 50 people in attendance. The topic was homelessness in Bethlehem. At this point, we have some groups already working with this difficult problem that every city faces. The meeting was specifically targeted at those most in need. those that are not at New Bethany or Victory House or other transitional program. This group, which numbers from 15 to 45 on any given night, struggle with mental health problems, substance abuse, alcoholism, among other things. Many in this group have no ID, social security number, or ability to hold a job. And these issues make it tough for them to qualify for taxpayers-supported shelters which have accountability standards and are aimed at returning the individual to being a productive piece of the community. These are what we call the chronically homeless. To help this group, 11 churches have set up a network of emergency overnight shelters. Collectively, these individuals, they are housed every night from mid-November, when temperatures really begin to dip, through March 31st, which, as we know, this ends a couple days ago, and even early March, we're still dealing with very cold overnight temperatures. During the November to March 31st dates, the shelters open from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every night, 7 days a week. The homeless are taken in, fed dinner and breakfast every day during their stay. If the next night's shelter is some distance away, transportation is also arranged. These shelters are supervised and run entirely by volunteers from churches, and I want to thank all of the volunteers for the 5,500 plus hours they gave to help support the program this past winter. I'd also like to thank all those in attendance at the meeting on the 17th, which included church leaders, students, county employees. Joe Kelly was there, our Director of Community and Economic Development. While there, Mr. Kelly did pledge city support and make it known that grant funding can be made available when a cohesive plan can be more formalized. And I would hope all of us on council would help support that pledge. While the conclusion was reached, it would be difficult to solve this problem in its entirety. Several plans were presented to help reduce the numbers seen in this church program this past winter season. A follow-up meeting was set to explore those plans, or will be set up to explore those plans. Another positive to come from this meeting was that I believe we're going to be able to direct the growing number of homeless people using the library during the day to a more suitable and appropriate location, one that would feed them lunch during their stay. Thanks again to all involved and to Mr. Kelly, the important information he offered at the meeting, and with his offer to work with the group and stay involved as they work to develop a long-term plan. Thank you.
Any other new business, members of council? We'll move to courtesy of the floor for public comment for a 5-minute time limit on any issue that you would like to address to the council on. Tina, then Mr. Frederick.
I left some pictures.
We just have your name and address for the record.
Oh, okay. I was just going to let them know what was up there. My name's Tina Kazakis Kowalski. I'm a merchant at 4th and New Street, South Bethlehem Business District. I'm here to talk today about city services rendered or lack of. It took 2 weeks and a lot of excuses as to why the city would not clean the streets on the Southside Business District. Excuses such as the street cleaning starts in April. A report will be written up. The equipment to clean sewer grates is broken. After 2 weeks of playing phone tag and excuses, the streets and sewer grates were cleaned. It was quite a frustrating feat, which should not have been. We cannot go without having our streets cleaned year-round during the winter months. One of the merchants was told by a city official there was too much garbage in the garbage can in front of her establishment. The garbage can is in front of the bus stop. Of course, there's garbage in it. The garbage can was removed by the city. So now people waiting for the bus are throwing their garbage on the street. Meanwhile, there are 3 garbage cans on the other side of 4th and Broadhead, 2 of which are in front of businesses. It doesn't make any sense. Please replace the garbage can at the bus stop at 4th and Broadhead. Soliciting and loitering. Practically every merchant has a no soliciting loitering sign in their windows at the first block of West 4th Street. Why is that? The merchants are complaining of people hanging out in front of their businesses trying to sell junk and also coming into their establishments and try to sell to them. 2 summers ago, both business districts told you we did not want push cart vendors in the business district. One of the reasons being that it would open the door to riffraff come into the business district and neighborhood. Today we have these people set up on West 4th Street, selling TVs, VCRs, DVDs in front of businesses on the sidewalk. Down further on West 4th Street, baby items, pots, pans, all sorts of junk out in front of storefronts on the sidewalks. These solicitors see your cart vendor with all his junk on the sidewalk, his coolers, open containers of food, garbage cans, all over the place. They feel that they could do the same thing. These soliciting and loitering has obviously become a problem. Otherwise, you wouldn't see as many no soliciting signs on the merchant front doors. The city departments and police departments are frustrating the merchants. Every time a call is made to these departments, it's a hassle. Not only is the police response time long, but it is a very lax attitude. We're calling you about a problem. We want something done. We are merchants, residents, citizens, and taxpayers. We're not asking for much. These are services that should be rendered without an attitude. The Fight for Blight flyer was distributed to all the merchants, residents, students of Lehigh University that live on 4th Street. We're making a group effort to keep our business district clean and safe. We want the city of Bethlehem to help us, not make us feel that we're doing something wrong because we're calling for your help. There are new young entrepreneurs in the Southside Business District. They're working hard with the DBA to have events that would bring people to our business district. They're trying very hard. We can have all the events we want, but if the streets are dirty and bums are hanging out asking for money, people soliciting and loitering, what good is it? Who's going to come back to the business district? Right now, think about this. Right now, there are 12 vacant storefronts on 3rd Street. That's not a good sign. We want to work with the city departments and the police department.
Thank you, Mrs.
Please
Clausen.
help us. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Benning?
Representing 2830 Linden Street, first I'd like to thank Bob Donchos. He followed up on my inquiry about mercantile tax, got a response from Mr. Reichert, which seems quite acceptable. However, I will offer the city a deal for a salary of $1 a year with no benefits. I would love to serve as a deputy permit licensed inspector at festivals and other events. And to show my goodwill, I'll even throw in Saturday nights walking down Main Street to see how well the 5-foot rule is being obeyed on sidewalks at outside restaurants. Moving on, the April 18th, when you've rescheduled your meeting, that afternoon at 4:30, the Bethlehem Redevelopment Authority is having its rescheduled standard meeting for April. A couple interesting things will be coming up, I believe. One, I think they will be voting on a new budget for the TIF Works project. If you folks saw the last one when you approved the rebate agreement, there's a new one in the works. Second thing, hopefully at that meeting will be the lease agreement between the Redevelopment Authority and ArtsQuest. That's a very important agreement. It's going to be very interesting to read. I have to note, though, that I guess the ribbon cutting is on the 14th. People start coming on the 15th, and the lease maybe will approved on the 18th. On March 21st, you find folks did visit the Steel Stacks project, and I read about it in the paper, and I'm looking at the article that appeared in the Express Times, and there was one quote that I would like to comment upon. I may be right, I may be wrong, but I'm just expressing my opinion. One of the council people was quoted as saying, "This is what the TIF was made for." I'd like to call people's attention to Act 113 of 1990 as passed by the state, which is the act which created the TIF and the TIF financing. From that act, it said, is the purpose of this act to provide an additional and alternative means to finance public facilities and residential, commercial, and industrial development and revitalization. That's the stated purpose of the act. Clearly, the work going on in the TIF is neither residential, commercial, industrial redevelopment, revitalization. It is public facilities to some extent. I would hazard a guess the second floor of the Stockhouse will not be a public facility where I can go eat lunch on a nice day. Also, I imagine that during Music Fest and some of the other events, there'll be portions of the festival plaza area which will not let me wander through unless I pay admissions. That I don't consider public. The other problem I've had with this project all along is that even though they are public facilities being developed, they're being developed not per se to encourage development, but basically for the benefit of one nonprofit organization to whom all the financial benefits will accrue. Second quote was, in Bethlehem, this is really going to help our bottom line. I don't know, did the developers, PBS and ArtsQuest, pay sewer tapping fees and recreation fees for the development of their buildings? Or are nonprofits excluded from that? I didn't have a time to check that out. But if you look at the operation of ArtsQuest, for example, in the Steel Stacks project, no property taxes. They'll be generating some mercantile taxes. Let's see how many they generate or how much they generate. They'll be doing some LST and some maybe EIT. Hopefully most of the high-paid people live in the city. But no property taxes. That's the revenue side. I don't see a lot of revenue coming in. On the other side, I think we're going to have a lot of public safety expenses. I'm not talking about roster duty. I'm talking about the response to the person who trips at the farmer's market and has to be transported to the hospital, the person who, the car fire in one of the parking lots, the standard police call for a purse snatching or some other incident. All these additional public safety costs are just some that come to mind. I don't know what else remains to be seen. What is in the lease agreement? There may be some more expenses offsetting the meager revenue. It's not like the Sands where you get 12% of the budget. One thing that has really disturbed me overall, that there was never any public discussion of priorities. We're all aware that in public government, funds are now limited, and we're slicing up a smaller pie. But no one in the public really ever looked at, should we be funding the Spark program, or should we have ArtsQuest? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Ready to pass?
Hi, Lily Reynolds, 318 West Packer Avenue. I am here just to echo Tina Kowalski's comments regarding the crime on the south side, especially. Businesses have gotten together to work together to do what they can, but it is a large concern amongst the community. And I live there on the south side now for 4 years. It's recently come to a turn of events that I don't feel comfortable going to the corner to my car at when the sun goes down. In early December, when the incidents happened up at Lehigh University with the robbings, I stepped outside my house to see 4 cop cars outside. I stepped out and said, "Is everything okay out here?" And a police officer actually turned to me and said, "No," and then didn't say anything else. I was concerned. I went immediately inside my house. But with 4 cop cars, certainly there would be a police officer there to assure me that they're taking care of it. With that said, I am a young professional that's working with the businesses on the south side, and I do see good things to come. But I guess we'd like to see the same from the city and the services provided. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez, you're next up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Su Fang, live at 3218 Marchand Drive, behind the Eli's Farmer Market. This is an old story. Now I'm here trying to highlight something. Eli's is going to build this warehouse over 8,000 square foot, and they already current their structure is already beyond the legal limit. It's 12,000 square foot, but they're going to make more than 19,000 square foot. And the zoning gave them permission, go ahead. And then we fight for the special, they have to get a special exception because they want to live above the law. And the zoning hearing board member give them a special exception. So they can build this huge warehouse, 3 truck trailer loading docks next to my bedroom, 40 feet. One side is 25 feet setback, one is 40 feet setback. And they pose a condition is continue operate at current hour. The current hour is their truck trailer start at midnight. And then there are garbage pickup before 6 o'clock. We called the zoning office. They said since we start this appeal, they're not enforce this condition. And then another thing is they're going to make this huge warehouse is 25 feet tall. Now they want to turn down this burn down building only 10 to 12 feet or something, 14 feet tall. They're double the height, triple the size, and push back to my bedroom. So another thing is, they made this loading dock from 240 feet away behind the building, moved next to my bedroom window. And we try to negotiate them, try to say, do less destructive things, and they just totally ignore us. It costs me tremendous amount of stress and money trying to fight for it. All we want the zoning is enforce the law and try to make the citizen have a normal life. Because when we bought a house, they don't have this structure. They do not have this 3 loading dock. They do not have all the utility put down this huge warehouse rooftop. They also want to move all the current utility on the rooftop. Now we want them to enforce the law. Now they said no. They seems like when I'm crying, try to get help. There's no way I can turn because they said they can't enforce anything because we're file appeal. So now I'm here. I just want to ask, the principle is, we are the country, have a principle, want to do good, and have to start the family, the community, and the city, the country. Now my family life is in trouble, and my community is changing when they build this. This is in residential neighborhood. Look at the zoning code, everything is there. They're not even allowed. Suppose they're not allowed having this truck trailer, diesel powered huge truck trailer parking in the RR zone is special there. Everything they give them every exception. So I'm asking city council city councilwoman to support me and help me this ongoing fight. I just want to have them. Everybody live within the law limit. If they deviate a little bit, it's okay. Now that everything, whatever Eli's want, Eli's get, have to look at it, do no harm. My life is going to be destroyed, totally harmed, and my neighborhood is going to be changed. It's because that's an established residential neighborhood. We do not need a warehouse and a huge amount of truck trailer because they said they can have whatever, any number of truck trailer they own park there. So that's not fair. So please support us, continue for this appeal. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez?
Eddie Rodriguez, 1845 Linden Street. I was going to talk about some other things, but then when all this came up, with crime and all that's, I'm right up on the ball with that. This is what I've been saying here for 4 years, over and over again. But I would like to start this with, first of all, the flaggers over on 3rd and Riverside Drive ought to get into directing these drivers into their proper lanes. We're going to have an accident there. They got flags in their hands and they're not doing cat doodle to direct the traffic. There is a separation between council members here. You just need to get on the ball with this. Like bygones be bygones and get more along. It's obvious enough. You just got to work together. I need not say anything else on that. You just figure it out. But don't have me pinpointing where it's landing, please. 378 South at McDonald's needs 2 right turn arrows to direct right-hand turns. That would allow the drivers an advance notice to stay in the proper lanes. They're moving towards the left lane to the right lane into the left lane going up the hill. Blase, blase. Now, whatever happened with the allegations of tampering with evidence that involved 2 Bethlehem police officers, no names mentioned, first happened to me. See, I was undecided on to what I would do with this, but it was a very dishonest decision by certain officers and had no regard for my safety, no regard for my life. I'm the one making the general complaints. It was obvious enough. People behind me, council members and police officers that are present, and Assistant Commissioner Jason Shipper that's here now. My life was threatened. And to this very day, I had no resolution whatsoever. I'm not satisfied with what happened with the police department, Bethlehem police officers who were involved, who lied, who were dishonest, saw the videos, and I believe they tampered with whoever did it, and still nothing was done. I talked to Mr. Spadoni about it, I talked to Mr. Sanchez and 1 or 2 members, and in my mind, without due respect, I like to say that it was wrong to begin with. And I'll be damned if I'm going to stand here and allow this to happen again, with me or anybody else. I want to make sure that these officers are on the ball with our concerns and our safety. It's not enough to put on a uniform to protect and serve. It is not that. They have a duty. But to be dishonest on top of that is not good. I'm sick and tired of this. They must do a more effective job. And the sarcasm and the obnoxiousness have got to go. It's got to go. It has no place in our community, in our society. Just because we see it somewhere else, it's got to go, with all due respect. We see a lot of things that are happening in the city, and we allow it to happen. We allow it to happen because of the simple thing. We don't concern ourselves with, we have to report it. That is the issue. You only report it when it's on top of us. You only report it when it happens to somebody else. But what if it happens to you and your own family? It's the little things that count, folks. It's the crime. It's the drugs. You see something done in the corner, report the doggone thing. Don't let it go. Report it. That's the only way you're going to accomplish things in this city. I've been saying it for 4 years, and I've taken up on my own life to volunteer my services as a community activist so I can get things done. But it has to be used people. Take this message to your children so this doesn't happen to your future generations. How disgusting it is to allow it to happen. The police officers in this city got enough work with allowing more work on top of this. We allow this to happen because we shut our mouth. We don't say nothing. Get those officers with the right information, right department, but they have to do their part also. because they have to do their part with reporting back to their concerns and their safety. I wish I had more time because I can give
Thank you,
you
Eddie.
hours and hours of this,
Thank you.
and I will be back.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
Mr. Grove?
Dana Grove, 2420 Henderson Place. Couple of things I've noticed riding around the community. Township Line Road is really in bad shape again between the Monocacy Creek and Route 22. And it's gotten so bad that people are actually kind of weaving their way in both